Let's go ahead and continue this discussion with Wayne Allyn Root, best-selling author, conservative commentator, and the 2008 vice presidential nominee for the Libertarian Party. He's also host of War Now, the Wayne Allyn Root radio show. His newest book is Angry White Male: How the Donald Trump Phenomenon is Changing America and What We Can All Do to Save the Middle Class. He joins me from Las Vegas, Nevada. Wayne, thanks so much for stopping by.
Hey, John, how are you? As you can see, I'm the happy, smiling, angry white male.
All right. Well, talk to me a little bit about your book, Angry White Males. When I hear that, I think of the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas. What are you thinking of when you write about it?
I'm not running down the LA freeways killing anybody. Let's make sure everybody knows that. I'm actually a very positive, optimistic, motivational speaker who speaks all over the world and uplifts people and tells spiritual stories and talks about my religious beliefs. So I'm not your typical angry white male, but I'm real angry because I think that the philosophy of liberals, of Obama and of Hillary and of anybody like them, Bernie Sanders, have destroyed the American economy. And ironically, that's not good for white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, or anybody else. I think they're bringing misery to every single race in this country. But my book does represent a certain group, angry white males, about 40 million of us. I think we will be the base that propels Donald Trump to victory on November 8th.
All right, Wayne, so tell me more about these men. Are these guys that participated in the 2008, 2012 presidential elections and voted for John McCain or Mitt Romney, or are they new people that you think Trump is bringing to the party?
You know, it's funny. From the first day, I was the first guy in the country, John. I could brag a little bit here. What did Muhammad Ali once say? It ain't bragging if you can back it up. And I was the first guy in the country who saw the potential of Donald Trump. I wrote about it at Fox News in May of 2015 when he hadn't even announced yet and he was at like 1% in the polls. And I said, Donald Trump can really win this nomination and win this election because he's going to expand the tent. Everybody thinks the Republican Party needs to bring in black voters, Hispanic voters, women voters. And I agree, they should. And I hope they do. And I want them to. And I think Trump will. But I said, you don't really need to expand the tent with other kinds of voters if you can expand the tent with 4 to 5 million new angry white males, working class Democrats, middle class people, men and women, who voted Democrat or didn't vote at all or voted sporadically in past elections, and nobody's speaking to them. And I believe the Democratic Party only speaks to poor and minority people. I believe the Republican Party mostly speaks to really rich people and corporate interests and lobbyists and Wall Street and banks. And I think nobody's speaking to working class, middle class people like my dad. I'm a son of a butcher, and someone needs to speak to the blue collar butchers of America. And I think Donald Trump will do it. And that's what I thought from day one, and I believe it's happening now. And a lot of these guys, to answer your question, John, either never voted or rarely vote or voted Democrat or independently in the past. And Donald Trump has brought them into the Republican tent. And that's why he got the most votes in the history of GOP primaries. And that's why I think he'll win on November 8th. And as we do this interview, he's up 5 points nationwide in the latest LA Times USC survey and 5 points in Ohio, the bellwether state. Donald Trump is doing it. And that's why.
How do you think it plays out electorally? What's the secret sauce here? Is it for him to run the table in the Rust Belt, win states like Ohio, which no Republican has won the presidency without winning Ohio? Maybe throw in Pennsylvania, obviously West Virginia, which trended Democrat for many years and has been going Republican of late. Maybe even Wisconsin or Michigan. Is that where he puts the 270 electoral votes together?
Yeah, I mean, you answered the question for me. Your answer is my answer, John. But I said this from day one, so it's nothing new for me, and I'm not piggybacking on your answer. I always said that the whole key was the Rust Belt and angry white males, but I've changed my opinion a little bit. I want you to know that the author of Angry White Male, the guy who speaks for millions of angry white men, is telling you that the key to this election will be a very unique, once-in-a-lifetime combination, I think, of angry white men and black voters. I think Donald's going to do fantastic, or at least by Republican standards, fantastic with black voters. I think he'll get 15% with an outside shot at 20%. I have a lot of black friends. None of them like Hillary Clinton. None of them trust Hillary Clinton. None of them have any love lost for Hillary Clinton like they did for Obama. They're either going to vote for Trump or they're not going to vote at all, a lot of them. And so I think Hillary's black vote percentage will go down dramatically from Obama. I think instead of in the 90s, it'll be in the 70s. And I think that's enough for Trump to win. And I think the overall number of black voters, the turnout, will be dramatically down from 2008 and 2012. And so that will give Trump the victory. So ironically, his base is angry white men like me, but what puts him over the top will be black voters. And that's a combination you've never seen in the history of the Republican Party. And I said it from day one. Doesn't matter how offensive Trump is, he'll create black jobs, he'll create Hispanic jobs, he'll create gay jobs, he'll create women's jobs. That's what we need for president.
So way back when, you were the Libertarian Party vice presidential nominee. We've got Gary Johnson on the ballot this cycle. He's doing much better than Libertarians have done historically. In some polls, he's polling in double digits. He has to hit the 15% mark to make the debates. Why are you supporting Donald Trump over Gary Johnson, the Libertarian nominee?
Well, first of all, I left the Libertarian Party for a good reason. No matter how many things I said about 100 different issues, all anybody wanted to talk about was pot, and more pot. The Libertarian Party doesn't want a chicken in every pot. They want pot in every pot. And although I kind of agree with them, I have no problem with pot. I'm kind of a guy who believes in freedom, economic and personal freedom. And if you want to smoke pot, you can smoke pot. I don't. But if you want to, great. It's not the most important issue in America. It's not the only issue in America. The economy is what matters. As James Carville would say, it's the economy, stupid. And Donald Trump is the guy who will turn around the economy and save capitalism and save the middle class and save this country from the Obama economic disaster. Second of all, the Libertarian Party makes no sense. And I was with them for over 5 years, and I argued this point every day, John. You cannot be for smaller government, limited government, less spending, and lower taxes, but be for open borders and letting millions of foreigners in the country. Those two don't work with each other. Every person coming over that border, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not generalizing. Every person that comes over that border illegally, I didn't say legally, every illegal alien that enters this country wants cradle to grave. They want the American welfare system, which balloons the budget, which increases spending, which makes Democrats win at the ballot every single time, and which will bankrupt this country and dramatically add to the debt and cause a debt crisis. So the Libertarian Party is the most screwed up, mixed up organization in the world. They have no clue what they stand for. You can't
That's
be
a ringing
for bigger
endorsement.
government and smaller government at the same time.
Well, who do you think they're going to pull more votes from? Are they going to pull more votes from Hillary Clinton or from Donald Trump?
How about if I tell you I believe, John, they're going to pull no votes from anyone? Every year at this time, including when I ran, our ticket looks great on paper. I ran with Bob Barr, four-term congressman, led the impeachment of Bill Clinton, famous name, and we ran together, Barr Root for president and vice president of the United States. We were at 6% and 8% in the polls that are high, and we wound up getting 0.5% of the vote. Gary Johnson only polls high because people at this point, with 60 days or so to go, a lot of people haven't decided yet.
But wait a minute, there was a key difference, though. When you ran the negatives,
they'll wind up at 2-3%.
The negatives weren't as high for both candidates. This cycle, we have very high negatives for both candidates. And it seems to me like Gary Johnson is benefiting from the fact that he's the guy that occupies the real estate that's essentially the none of the above category. Is that what you think could help him poll higher than libertarians in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people. I don't know anyone who even knows his name. They have no idea who he is. But when they look at a box and they see Trump, Clinton, and Libertarian, and of course, Jill Stein, the Green Party, some liberals click Jill Stein, some click Gary Johnson because they haven't made up their minds yet. But by Election Day, my guess is 95% or more will make up their minds, and then Gary Johnson and Jill Stein will split that 5% that's meaningless, anonymous, insignificant, will not affect the election.
All right, you're sitting in Las Vegas, Nevada right now, which of course is a swing state. It's an important state, by the way, in both the primary and the general election. It's a bizarre place to be where everyone cares what you guys think about politics. Which way is Nevada going to go come November?
Well, you know, I've got the big talk show in Las Vegas, afternoon drive time, 3 hours a day every day, 7 days a week, by the way. I've also got the #1 column in the biggest newspaper in the state, twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. I'm now called the conservative voice of Nevada by the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I think I could single-handedly grab a point or two, and I think that might be the difference for Donald Trump. Listen, this is the perfect state for Donald Trump. He was born to win this state. If you're a Republican in this state, you believe in economic and personal freedom. We have legalized prostitution. We have the lowest taxes in the country. We've got legal medical marijuana. We've got legal gambling. Donald Trump was in the casino business. No one minds gambling here. So this is the perfect atmosphere, environment, and populace for Donald Trump. And I think he'll squeak out a win in Nevada, and that'll make a big difference in winning the country. Because, by the way, you mentioned the bellwether state of Ohio, but there's only one state that's only been wrong one time in the last century for who wins the presidency. It's Nevada. We're actually the bellwether state of the country.
Wayne, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks, John. Angry White Male. Don't forget, it's an important book. Get it.
That's right. You can get his book, Angry White Male, How the Donald Trump Phenomenon is Changing America and What We Can All Do to Save the Middle Class. It's out right now and available everywhere, including downloads.